Morning, bro.
What are you doing in the vehicle, man?
Hiding from the rain.
Come and get yourself a sports
Just
class.
a bit of
mate.
water.
Come and get a sports class, and that's the end of the day.
Did you get something now?
I got about 3 laps.
Sorry, did you sell? No racing today.
Well, it rained out today, as you can see. We were hoping that it would only rain for like an hour and then it would dry out, but it hasn't stopped. And then you can see on the ground, it's like a pool.
Yeah, weather turned on us at around 11 o'clock. We came early, set up everything as usual, but yeah, this is part of racing as well. We can't really predict the weather. All the drivers have, we've decided to have wet racing this year, but the wet tires haven't been in, so yeah.
So what's going to happen now with today?
So the race has been called off, so most of the drivers are just waiting for the rain to go away a bit and they can pack up. But yeah, it's just unfortunate that the weather turned. We had a good turnout today, so we're hoping that next race it should be fine and weather should be okay to race there.
Unfortunately, the weather has not cooperated with us, and the rain has set in for the afternoon, so we've had to cancel this round. And hopefully, maybe we can move it to another weekend, or maybe move it to the end of the season, and then get this round back on the counting towards the championship. Unfortunately, these karts aren't set up to race in the wet, and we don't have wet weather tyres, so yeah, it'd be very dangerous to race in the rain. And there's a lot of standing water on the track, and I don't think it's dry in time, so we've decided to call it early so then people can go home and dry off and yeah, spend the rest of their Saturday, doing whatever they want to do.
Race 4 of the Moni Plus Moresby GoKart Championship. The weather holding up compared to 2 weeks ago. The day sponsored by Lifu Holdings. After round 2, the 2022 championship trackers see Corey leading with 78 points, Cullen on 58, Ray Socken and Theo Casemiro on 54 points, Chris Chen on 52 and Leon on 51, rounding up our top 6.
Oh, for me, it's just to finish the race. Every point counts, so I just want to finish the race and get some points. It's a long season, and the points at the end of the season will add up, so any points will do.
Meanwhile, Ray Socken laments his run with bad luck in the last 2 races.
Well, it's a struggle. Beginning of the season is a real struggle for me. I'm struggling to find out what is wrong, where I'm going wrong, and how to set up the kart. Everybody's moved a different level altogether. I'm actually half a lap behind. It's ridiculous from winning races last year to actually half a lap being in the mid-range. God, I hope it's not the racer. I hope it's the machinery. I'll find out. I don't know. I honestly, years of racing, I could tune the kart and I just can't get it to go as fast. And they're leaving on the straight. We're supposed to have all the same motor. On the corners, yeah, I get them. On the straight, they're leaving. So what? I'm doing the same sprocket. My weight's perfect. I don't know. I think it's more time on the track. The rainy season hasn't helped. It's been freaking raining. Today was supposed to be called off because apparently at 2 or 3 we're going to burst down with rain, but it looks like it's going to hold out. Landed unexpected, but when you get a welcome.
Race 4 welcomes a fresh new face. Driving kart 28 of On Track is Surgeon Polyap. Surgeon is from Manus Island and all he wants to do on his debut race is to make an impression.
I just wanted to experience something new for the first time in my life. I just wanted to express how it feels to be in a different environment, atmosphere of something, of different sports.
But what does his mom say?
She was against it. Yeah, after watching a little accidents happening. Yeah.
The usual suspects not around, the head marshal of the day is Dr. Nick Supis.
Yeah, the boys called me up during the week and asked if I could fill in as head marshal. I said, no worries. I ruled it out in the calendar and had a good team here. They're all experienced and made the day go really well.
The Port Moresby Kart Championship, we run a spec kart, so that means everyone has the same kart, same chassis. Well, there's a few different chassis, but mainly the running gear is the same, so that makes the competition fair. So we run same tires, same engine, pretty much the drivetrain package is the same across the board. So that way it's more down to the setup of the kart and the driver. That's the most important part, and then that's the difference between winning and losing.
So normally a kart doesn't, a go-kart has only just accelerator and brakes, but it doesn't have clutch or things like that. So just take us through that.
Yeah, no worries. Well, this is a gearless kart. There are geared karts you can buy, but we're not at that class yet. Maybe eventually down the track, once these guys get more experience, we can introduce shifter karts. But shifter karts, they're obviously more parts involved and there's an increased cost. But at the moment, these are doing the job for what we need to do, and yeah. So I'll happily guide you through the kart right now. The on-track racing kart, number 28. So yeah. So here we have the tires. These are the MG yellows. Everyone runs the same MG yellow tires across the field, and they are a control tire. So what a control tire is everyone. Well, it's if a karter runs a different tire, then we'll disqualify them because it's not the tire that we specify as in the rule book. So everyone has to run this tire. There is no ifs and buts about it. Okay. As you said, there's only brake and gas. So here we have the brake. It's pretty simple. The In a road car, you have brakes on the front and rear. It's only in the go-kart, it's only on the rear. So this is a brake, and then you have a cable actuated throttle. So this is the throttle pedal here, and that ties to the throttle body. So steering adjustments can be made on these tie rods and at the kingpin right here. So what you can do is you can change your toe in, toe out, and your camber alignment. So then, let's say you want a more aggressive kart or more aggressive turn in, you can maybe, for the folks at home, toe in is, sorry, I'm doing it wrong, but toe in is when you point the wheels in towards you, and toe out is when you point it out towards the road. So you can adjust your toe like that, and camber is the angle of the tire in and out like this. So a lot of the karts, it depends on your personal preference and your driving style, but usually kart setups you run a positive camber and a positive toe out, or a toe out. Here we have the radiator for cooling to keep the karts to within operating temperature, because you don't want to run these engines too hot. On the steering wheel we have a display. These have GPS built in, so then it can draw the track on there. I'm sure we can turn it on. If it's, yep, we'll wait for that to boot up. These track your time. They can they tell you when in the RPM you are. So if you had to shift the kart, you could set these up to shift, well, tell you when to shift. And it tells you temperature, it tells you your fuel oxygen mix and all that kind of stuff as well. So you can get a lot of data off this, and you can drive your kart to your maximum pace. It tells you your lap time and all that kind of stuff as well. Yeah, so horsepower is the rated output of the engine. So in this case, we are running 30 horsepower two-stroke motors. The X-Army X30s, or IARMY X30, sorry. And yeah, so it's just a two-stroke motor, 30 horsepower. Everyone runs the same motor. And it's a very simple engine, if you call it that. It's also got a clutch in there, a rotational clutch. So all you have to do is press on the throttle, and the kart will move on its own. So there is no gearbox. There is basically it's a chain-driven motor. So as soon as the clutch starts to bind, then you get drive out of the rear axle. And then we have the carburetor. So this is what determines your fuel mixture into the engine. And you got two ports here. You got the low port and you got the high port. So when the throttle body's closed, you're getting fuel via the low port, so it doesn't stall out your engine and stuff. And when you're at wide open throttle, you'll get the maximum fuel flow into the engine.
So what kind of fuel do you use?
So we use 98 octane, and we have to run the highest octane we can, and that's pre-mixed with two-stroke oil, specialist two-stroke oil. The karters, they can determine what ratio they want to run. Usually it's between 4 to 6%. Maybe some guys want to run it at 7%, so that's 7% oil to fuel ratio. Usually, yeah, it's to lubricate the engine as well, and yeah, because two-stroke there's no oil sump, so you have to run a premix like Zoom. These karts, depending on the gearing, so you can change the sprocket at the front and the sprocket at the rear. That determines your gearing. I believe most karters here are running a 10 tooth at the front, and then at the rears they're running maybe, the lowest I've seen when we started last year was about 70 tooth, and right now some guys are running up to 90 tooth sprockets. So that alters your gear ratio, and that, like a bigger ratio means more top speed, but if you move to the smaller ratio, smaller big gear at the back, you get faster acceleration. There is a fine balance you can achieve there. But in terms of speed, these karts are rated to about 110 kilometers per hour. So they are quick little machines. Okay, so mandatory safety measures that we tell the karters are obviously you have to have the bodywork on the car. That's a big one. So if you have an incident, the bodywork kind of buffers a little bit of the collision. So you're not copping as a driver. You're not absorbing the hit of the other car. There's a chain guard here. So we have had cases where the chain has exploded, and the last thing you want is metal to explode onto the track and into a fellow driver. So these are mandatory. And there is also an exhaust safety wire here. Yep, bit hard to see, but this thing right here. So let's say if the exhaust does manage to break, the exhaust doesn't fly off and hit someone in the face. Other safety measures include the battery tie-down strap over here to secure the battery in place so that when you're racing it doesn't wobble around. And
I noticed that the drivers don't have seat belts. Is there a reason with the go-kart?
well, if you know, let me know. But no, seriously, no, there's just no anchor points in these karts to put seatbelts. I mean, there's no proper research into whether you require seatbelts for karts or not. So, I mean, we're running a similar series to what they run overseas in Australia. So, if they don't mandate seatbelts, we're not going to mandate seatbelts. But in terms of would I like to see seatbelts in these, I'm still on the fence. I need to do my research, but at the moment, I think for our racing, we don't need the seatbelts.
Heat 1 sees Christian of Mountain Dew starting on pole position with the fastest qualifying time of 34.9 seconds. Second fastest qualifier is Ray Socken of Pit Stop with 34.1 seconds. And Leon of Track Pro on third with 35.4 seconds.
Oh, it's nice to see you, Carl. I came all the way from Ireland, you know.
So tell us what's happening right now on the screen.
So at the moment there, I think it's Heat 2, right? Oh, Heat 1. Okay, sorry about that. And they're just doing their formation lap now. After qualifying, they have to go around the formation lap, and only when the marshal waves the green flag is when they can go. He has to be happy that they're in alignment, and then they can start the race of Heat 1. So as you can see, they're warming up their tires. That's why they're swerving from left to right, trying to still keep their formations in like pairs, like parallel, like a ladder. And as they come around the corner, you can see that they're jockeying for positions, even though they're not meant to, but just warming up their tires. You can see Leon Nguyen, Track Pro, swerving his kart. He's right behind Chris Chan of Mountain Dew GoKarts. He's in the green. And the marshal's happy. He's got his green flag. And he's off. The Mountain Dew kart is of number 1. Oh, there's a little bit of shove from Corey from PEC. And now they're going to turn 2. And now into turn 3. A lot of adrenaline junking right here. And Chris is all the way out to lead. He's built a good lead. He's very green. I think green must be the lucky color. It's the color of the Irish, actually, you know. Nice tight turn there in the hairpin. And they're coming around again. So this is the second to last corner from the pit straight. First is Mountain Dew Chris. Second is Leon from, not Leon, sorry. It's Ray Sokan. The third is Leon, fourth is Corey, fifth is Callan. Philip is coming. But Chris is still building an insurmountable lead. He's keeping some good pace in the corners, as you can see. Leon's gone a bit wide there. This is a really tricky corner here because you have to take the right line. If you take a wide line, you might get a good exit like that. Take a narrow line, you get a shorter exit, slower. So as we're coming back around the pit straight, Chris is still in the lead, followed by Ray and Leon. Sorry.
Yep, so if Leon wants to, oh, something's happened.
Oh, he's got a cone in his right fender, and he's put his hand up to signal he's going to pit lane, so I think he's out for this heat at least. Chris is still in the lead. He's keeping that good pace. I think he's doing sub 35 laps. Yeah, so 35 and down. So as we might get up to it, but when you see them waving the blue flags, that means there's a faster car behind you, and you have to let them pass because they're racing for positions. Whereas the person that they're trying to pass is like a last back marker.
So if Leon wants to catch up with Chris, what does he do?
He'll have to do this thing called slipstreaming, where you follow the car intensely close, but then you need to. So he's just doing a bit slipstreaming there, following Ray. But as soon as he sees a gap, he goes out wide to the left or the right, and then he puts the gas on, or the pedal to the metal, as they call it back in Ireland.
Is Ray Socken?
So Chris from Mountain Dew, Pacific Industry sponsored. Then you got Pit Stop Racer and Track Pro. That's all the podium positions. They call it the dais.
Spoke to Ray Socken earlier on. He was lamenting the fact that he's actually struggling and he can't understand why.
Well, I think he's almost followed a very close tail of Formula One, like last year and this year. He was at the pace of a Ferrari, maybe this year, but last year he had a pace of Mercedes. Oh, so you may have seen a blue flag, so he's missed past the back marker there.
Yeah, Jade's not doing well with his car.
I think he just needs more track time because I think this is his first race back in Papua New Guinea. And we're at the lovely the military barracks, I think it's near Skyview, and that's where they're racing right next to the runway strip. Like what other countries in the world where you get this, where you're racing right next to a runway, a live runway? And Chris is still keeping good pace. I think the green must have some extra energy, like maybe 5 extra horsepower.
Yeah, he's got that energy, but we'll see how he goes throughout the day, because in round 2 he actually struggled in the 15 laps.
Yeah, because it is quite enduring, it's an endurance sport. People just think it's quite fun, but they just think, stop start, it's fine, but they're constantly going. You got a lot of the G forces around your body. That's why they wear the what's it called again? The chest pads to protect your ribs, or the rib protectors. The race gloves, the helmet. You need the helmet. That's the most important thing. And as you can see, if he comes around this corner here, see how he slides a little bit, drift to the right? Well, he's not going fast enough, but I think it might. No, it's not the last lap yet. The last lap's indicated when you have the white flag. Then you have 1 lap to go, and then that's pretty much the end of the heat.
It's amazing the PEC brothers are not actually pushing themselves.
I think they're pushing, but sometimes the tires might not be there. They might not be warmed up. You might have the wrong chain configuration, the sprockets, and the fuel load. It's a whole lot of things to do, like radiator. It's literally a working car, but just down below, close to the ground. So the blue flag, that man over there is waving a blue flag. That means telling that driver that he's waved the blue flag to move aside, because he's impeding the people that are coming through to race for positions for possible podium.
Yeah. Oh, Jade is being flagged down.
So he's slowed down, stayed on the right, so Chris can take the inside line. They're showing some really good pace out there for an overcast day. It's because you don't get the tire temperatures in there. So there's another blue flag for Surgeon Holop from On Track Racing, number 28. And Leon, the Joker, new one. Look at him, 666. He might have the devil inside of him. Look, he's driving like the devil. But he's keeping some really good pace. I think he's in P4 at the moment, or 3. Let's just double check. P3. I just got corrected by Carl. And Ray Socan, number 2. Leon, number 3 from Track Pool. Corey from PC number 5. Callan number 69. I think that's a special number. Another blue flag telling people to move out of the way. That's correct. And I think Chris is just coming around. He's keeping miles ahead of them. But as we know, it's a sprint now, but it's actually a marathon. So this is the white flag on the left. So it's the last lap to go in this heat. Still keeping nice tight lines.
So, when Chris is leading like this, is he relaxed or what's going on his mind right now?
Well, I just think he's just counting down the laps to finish, because it is quite a grueling. It's like almost doing cardio for like 10 minutes straight or 30 minutes, even though it's a short race, because the G-forces, the arms, everything. Core strength, and that's the checkered flag. He's passed, and he's the champion for this heat anyway.
Well done, Chris. Ray Socken, second.
And Leon Newen coming in. He's number 3, so we'll see how he goes in the other 2 heats, but I think he's looking good. Looking very fast. I think he drives motorcycles faster in Vietnam. I don't know if he's got his license though, you know? Like, he says he has a class 1, but he must have class L for learners. And welcome back. This is Heat 2. So this is a reverse grid. So they're still doing their formation lap. So reverse grid happens where the results from race 1, if you come first, you'll start last in the second heat. If you finish last, you start first in the second heat, vice versa, until you meet up in the middle. So if you have 3 heats, the third heat is a culmination of both results. So if you finish 1 and 2, you might actually start 1 on the last race. So it pays to be in front. So I'll just take a minute here to thank our major sponsors. It's called the Moni Plus Kart Championship Port Moresby. They're the major sponsors who sponsor this whole race, as you can see on the advertisement. And we have the co-sponsors are FedEx and Heineken. So at the end of the season, actually, Carl, they're going to have an end of season fastest lap winner, the FedEx fastest lap. So over the whole season, they would do the times, and I'll just and the race is about to start, heat 2. Oh, that's good pace there. Leon's come on the outside from Track Pro. As you can see on his on-camera footage, he's following Trent. No sponsorship cards, but he's number 44 in front. Keeping really cool. Trent went out a bit wide. Leon's up cut blinds. I think he's going to try and cut this and under brake. Ooh, and I think he's just past Trent. So now in front of him is, I think, Theo from Barocco Motors. Oh, there's a spin out there. So I think, from seeing that footage, I think Trent spun out. Ooh.
Yep.
Okay, and then they've clipped him. So they have to go off track.
Yep. I think that's Corey there.
That's why the yellow flags. Ooh, the marshal almost got taken out. And I think the track is clear, because I don't see yellow flags. And back to the action now. I think we're on board with
Theo.
Theo from Barocco Motors. Great driver. I think he's actually Greek goddess. Maybe call him Adonis now. Ooh, there's a bit of a tangle up there.
Yeah, that's Jack and the young surgeon.
Surgeon from On Track Racing, number 28.
Oh, Jack doesn't look too happy.
Jack doesn't look too happy. I'm not too sure what happened there. Maybe under braked and clipped him on the sides. So hopefully no one's hurt. Oh, he's still moving, so he looks okay. Ooh, live action replay. So I think Surgeon spun out and Jack had nowhere to go, so he just had to go over, but luckily Surgeon was still okay. And we're back to the race. The track's all clear and they start racing again. So we have Dan Geiger from SBS, number 83 in the lead at the moment, followed closely by Theo from Barocco Motors and Leon from Track Pro, the Joker. Well, the Joker Devil. with the numbers like that. That might be his Digicel number. Send him some flex. Some nice angles here. Ooh, he's getting close. Ooh, he's clipped the... Ooh, he's got a cone there.
And he's overtaken.
He's overtaken. So he did a bit of the slipstream how he talked about in H1.
Yep.
The cone just gone there. That's an obstacle. So that possibly yellow flag. But if no one gets hurt, then they just continue racing. Leo from Trackpro comes on the inside. Now he's following Theo from Boroko Motors quite closely. So he's taking some... as you can see, they take different lines. So Theo goes on the inside or outside, and Leon comes on the inside.
Leon has just overtaken Theo.
He has.
Yep, on the inside.
So he's out braked and braked late. Go on the corner, put the pedal to the metal, as you can see here in the action replay. And now he's coming back to the pit straight.
It was Leon's day. This is Leon's day.
He must have something else in that fuel, you know, because he's going so blooming fast. So Leon Neon from Trackpro, the Joker, is out front, followed by Theo from Boroko Motors. Chris Chan's in fourth, but he's closing in on third at the moment. He's following one of the PEC boys. I can't see the number yet, so I'll have a look.
So Leon will be doing a 34 right now?
I think Leon's in the sub 34s now, without the lap time, but he's looking really fast and he's pulling away from the pack. Ooh, look at that tire screech. Can you just hear it? Hear the adrenaline. Makes me feel like a Mountain Dew at the moment. I think Chris must have had a Mountain Dew at half time because he's coming up from the pack. You know, he started last and he's coming up fourth now, maybe fifth. And
Ray Socken just overtaken.
He's taken over Callan from PEC, number 69.
Ray Socken is running a good line.
He's running really good lines.
Yeah.
It's very interesting to see what lines the drivers take. See what's fastest for them. It's just action-packed, you know. Like, you haven't been down, you should come down. I think it's free entry, isn't that right?
It's free. It's free. There's lots of food. There's lots of drinks. Nice people to meet.
All we need is some halftime shows. Maybe a pool, a bit of Mountain Dew, Pepsi. I don't know. What does Colin drink?
Heineken Zero.
Oh, Heineken Zero. Actually, there are Heineken Zero stalls there, and they're just trying to promote their product. Drink responsibly, but you're not drinking because you're just drinking zero alcohol beer.
There's something else that they drink. It's called Sports Plus. It looks green and it's got SP on it.
Ah.
Yeah.
No, I think that's I don't even know what that is. It's like a funny Mountain Dew. You get a cooler, it actually looks like a Solo. So it could be like Solo drink or something like that, you know? But it's a lovely day. I think the sun's come out now. So it used to be overcast when it's... Ooh. What happened there? I think I missed it.
There's a battle between, I think it's Socken and Theo.
Oh, Ray Sokan and Theo.
Oh!
It's really, I don't know what... Ooh, you can hear the fans. They're screaming wild. Horsepower, adrenaline.
It was a good line by...
It was a great line for the overtake, you know? It's like he had a DRS button. Oh, and Theo tries to make the lunge from the inside. So you have Ray Sokan from Pit Stop Racer out in front, followed by Theo Casemiro. Oh, sorry, I got stand corrected. Leon Newen from Track Pros out in front, followed by Ray Sokan Pit Stop Racer. Theo Casemiro from Boroko Motors. And this lovely gentleman coming around is Dan Gagan from SBS. If you need to stay cool, just look at SBS Electrical. They do air cons, they'll do all sorts of stuff, you know. So Leon's out in front from Track Pro. He's really putting the pace down. I think he might be either pushing or saving his tires. It's too hard to tell without looking at the rev meter. But Ray, I think, is closing the gap. So I'm like, Leon looks like he's close. He's not. The car's just not going left to right as fast as screeching, you know. Like, then you know how fast he's going. We can give it a good indicator anyway. But he's looking really good out there. It's funny how Ray Sokan from Pit Stop Racer has 46 on his back of the chest. But he has 42 on the kart. 46 is actually the doctor. Or number 12. I just can't do math, you know. Leon's still in front, but I think Ray's catching him up, followed by Theo from Barocco Motors. Then we have Corey from PEC and Chris from Mountain Dew. Do the Jew. And Leon's coming around to the pit straight now. Home straight. I think there's like 3 laps to go. I haven't seen any flags yet or the counter. Oh, it's the last lap. Oh, I stand corrected. And he's keeping some nice pace. See how he's just keeping a nice tight corners, keep safe pace so you can just get out of the corners, put the throttle on.
Gunning it down the straights.
He's gunning it down, you know. It's like someone's chasing him. Someone is chasing him.
In the shape of a Filipino.
Well, yes, and he has a billboard, you know, on the side. You can always get some fuel from Pit Stop Leafu Holdings, actually. That's who sponsors Pit Stop Racer. And the checkered flags, and Leon from Track Pros first, Ray from Pit Stop Racer second, Theo from Barocco Motors third, Chris from Mountain Dew fourth,
Cullen.
and Callan from PEC
During
fifth.
the weighing, Ronaldo Socan was 1 kilogram less than the required weight.
Oh, he's got
Thus,
the
he was disqualified.
Qualified. Apparently, I was underweight because I took a dump. Honest truth. I went to the toilet.
And we're back for the last race, Heat 3, the final. Let's see what happens here, ladies and gentlemen. So Chris Chan from
That's from Corey's camera.
Corey from Pacific Energy Consulting. They actually did a construction electricals, a whole bunch of things. I can't list them all because it'll take too long and the race will be over. So Pacific Energy Consulting, go look them up. They actually do really good work in Papua New Guinea. Big warehouses, excellent staff. Back to the racing now.
It's a battle between Corey and
Theo Casemiro
yeah.
from Barocco Motors. So at the front we have Leon from Track Pro, Chris from Mountain Dew, Theo from Barocco Motors, and the 2 Pacific Energy Consulting boys. It's a really good race at the moment, you know, they're really showing up. They always show up every week. Once for practice and once for the race.
You have the 2 leaders now breaking away.
I think their tires are worn. They're doing the good races. I think they're maybe sub 35s, possibly early 34s. But as again, I can't tell without getting some statistics on board with me. But they look really fast. As you can see, they're broken away from the pack. So it's a 1-2 combo at the moment, followed by. So it's almost like a Max Verstappen battle and Charles Leclerc out in front, and you have the leading pack at the back, the middle pack. Ooh, he's
tight.
Ooh, it's very tight. See how the tire just came up? He's really pushing hard.
Yeah.
He's got a good shadow on the back. And this is an interesting battle here. For the last position on the podium. So Leon's still out in front from Track Pro, followed by Chris and Mountain Dew. Still, they haven't changed position yet, but I think this is a good indicator of maybe the championship series of how it's going to go. Chris was unlucky in the last race a fortnight ago not to finish because he had cart troubles.
It's amazing how Theo is actually keeping his line.
Well, I think Corey's coming on the inside, trying to come in, and he's trying to slipstream. Okay. So as soon as you get him in the corner here, you'll be sliding there, so Corey gets some good traction. You might get a good pace out of him in front. And back to Leon and Chris.
Back to the leaders, yeah.
Back to the leading pack. It's a really interesting race. Like, I've never seen anything in my life before, you know. We used to do horses and carts back home, but, you know, these like adrenaline. I've never seen this before in my life. Chris is taking the outside line. But Leon from Track Pro is like just cutting all the corners off. Not letting him get an inch, let alone a mile.
They're both really gunning it.
They're gunning it a lot. One would say they're on track. And Chris took the wide line, tried to get the apex, clip the apex. No, did not happen. Leon shut that off again.
So Leon's got ice at his back.
Ooh, no mirrors, but Chris takes the inside line. Let's see if he can keep that pace.
Oh,
Going to turn 3. There you go. There's action replay. Look at that. Mountain Dew goal.
Wow. So what do you think happened there?
Well, he slipstreamed in up until the straight, and then he just broke away to go to the left and went on the inside line. Late on the brakes, so Leon had to just concede position. Otherwise, he would have maybe clipped him and crashed.
So what do you think is going into Leon's mind right now?
I think Leon is just looking for the time and the place, the right time, to try and take over safely.
Did he swear to himself inside the visor?
Oh, he must be, but you know, who knows what goes on in his driver's mind, you know? They could have, you know, SP on their mind, Mountain Dew.
Sports Plus,
you know. Anything in a can, really, you know? Can't do bottles on the track. Glass will just shatter everywhere. So Chris is keeping good pace, but I think Leon might be saving his tires while still pushing at the same time. Sounds oxymoronic, but you gotta manage your tires to the end of the race until that checkered flag comes down. It's anyone's race.
And mind you, Tommy, this is a 15-lap race.
So in the finals, they normally, it's Heat 1 is 12 laps, Heat 2 is 12 laps, Heat 3 is 15 laps, which is the final. So it's a winner-take-all scenario. It's not based on accumulation of points, just positions. So if you start last in the Heat 1, middle, Heat 2, you might actually win the race in Heat 3.
Like Sokan. Sokan had a chance.
Sokan had a chance, but someone closed that door. He shouldn't have gone to the toilet. You know, he would have been not underweight and got a better result. Should have kept it in. And this is an interesting battle here. So, Corey's getting really close. Corey from PEC, followed by Pia from Barocco Motors. So Serge has gone on the right because he knows there's people in the back of him trying to get the lead for the last position on the dais. And Ray Sokan's coming up. He's trying to fight for that third position too. He's following Corey very closely.
He wants a podium.
He wants that podium, but he got many podiums last year. I think he should share the wealth, you know? Share the joy with everyone else that haven't experienced it yet. But it's a really tight battle for that third position. There's four racers, one position. Who's going to get it? I don't know yet, until the checkered flag comes down. If I was a betting man, I'd say Chris from Mountain Dew and Leon, 2 top positions. Unless something catastrophic happens.
Leon's just laying back, waiting for his opportunity.
He's buying his time because he knows there's still more laps to go, but he might get him on the last couple laps. Corey's coming. Oh, Theo spun out. Clip Corey. Oh, Arthur went behind him. So I think Corey might have some issues with his car. Oh, yellow flag. That means caution. Proceed with caution. Do not overtake. Maintain your positions. I wonder if we have a replay about that. So Corey and Ray Sokan. Sorry, that was Sorry, that's Callan from PEC. So you got a Marshall Ben Vera helping him, waving the yellow flag, high vis vest. So when they put their hands up means you can't overtake and you gotta go slow. That's why they put their hands up in like a 90-degree angle. Say, help please, stop. And I think they're back racing again. No yellow flags, I think it's ready to go. Track's clear.
Cullen's not at his best.
Really close racing right here. Ooh. I think Leon's pushing the pace now because he just seems a little bit closer, and he might have DRS.
Oh, look at him pressing the brakes.
3 wheels. I've never seen 3 wheels.
Oh, he's overtaken.
Leon has bitten his time and he's found the gap. Punched the gas.
Ooh.
That really slowed Christopher down. Leon took advantage of that on 4 wheels. Power. As Jeremy Clarkson says, power. And he's keeping tight lines. I don't know when Chris will catch up with him, you know. I think there's only 2 laps to go in the final, but we'll see.
Just dropped back a little bit now.
I think he knows maybe just conserve the tires because his tires must be blistering because he's just not keeping the same pace. And that's a nice overtake replay of that. Yeah, I think Chris is like just coasting now because he knows he's got P2, so P2 is better than crashing out, so he's just coasting now whilst preserving his tires because you got a puncture. Race calm.
Race 1 and 2 he actually DNF.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
Oh. Well, good old Tommy here is not really good on the statistics, you know. The old onion bag's not that great. They really need a lap counter on this infographic to tell the viewers. So this is the last lap now. The white flag's been waved. So this is... So I think Leon's almost finished. He's passing the back marker shortly. It's the last spin out. He can smell the victory.
Oh, he's a happy man.
I think the Sports Plus should be on him next time we have a race.
I agree.
And the checkered flag, that Leon from Track Pros first, Chris from Mountain Dew second. Let's see who comes in third. I haven't seen the battle yet, but let's see who runs the corner.
It's a big gap.
It's a big gap. Big prize, number 3. And it's Theo Casimiro from Borco Motors in third. Corey Van Genderen. Oh, Ray Sokan. Spun out. Almost finished the race in P5. I'm not too sure what happened. Loose nuts. And that's a great time, Carl. I've had a very amazing time here in Papua New Guinea. Hopefully I'll see you soon.
Thanks, Tommy. Thanks for your time. I appreciate it, man.
Remember the old onion bag. We gotta do the Joe.
Taking the podium on 3rd place is Theo Casemiro of Boroko Motors. 2nd place is Chris Chen of Mountain Dew. And
There you
1st
have it,
place,
ladies and
Leon
gentlemen.
Nguyen of Track Pro.
Your podium, top 3 for today's event. Everybody else, congratulations too, but let's give it up for these 3.
He drove pretty well, consistent today, but for myself, I started off well with 34 second lap times, and then afterwards by the second half, it was dropping to 35, and then 36 with 6 or 7 laps left, I was doing 36 second lap times, which is too slow. And if he's going at 34 or 35, he's going to easily overtake me. So I had a bit of a lead, but then he caught up pretty easily after that, and then I lost my position, and then so he deserved the win today.
We all deserve to win, you know. But I think today, from my side, is I try to save my tyres in the second race, and sort of I pushed it a bit in the last race. Chris was on my back most of the time, then he overtook me, and then but I knew I had more on the tyres, so I pushed it at the end there to catch Chris, and then Chris' tyres were fading as I saw, and then so I overtook him a few laps to go. So
There was good battle between Leon and what's his name, Corey too as well.
Who? You have a battle with Corey?
Leon, there was good battle.
with Corey?
Corey and who?
No, it was Corey and Theo.
Theo.
Yeah.
Theo, sorry.
Oh well, we didn't see
know
it.
because I think he was too far ahead, so I was just focusing on his. I think there was an accident, so they had to slow down a bit, and then so there was a bit of a gap between myself and Leon, and then so we could see there was a bit of a gap. So we had a good battle, and it's basically what the racing's about.
Yeah.
And we had a bit of fun, yeah.
Third race was really good, eh?
Third
Yeah,
race?
third race was really good. It was between Chris. Chris was on, like I said, he was pushing me there on the last race there. So I just had to try to keep on the limit. But like I said, I tried to save my tyres in the second race for this last race, and my tyres are pretty ripped up at the moment now. But I was just enough to get past Chris at the end there.
As of our young debutant,
Yeah, it's unfortunate. Just trying to avoid the collision and then ended up overturning. So, but it's the experience. So, it's better to.
Race 4 done and dusted, the karters now look forward to race 5.